You know that feeling of peace you got when you're in a garden, right? Just surrounded by all these beautiful flowers and plants. But what if I told you that hiding in plain sight, some of the most beautiful plants are actually carrying some pretty deadly secrets? Well, today we're going to uncover the hidden dangers that might just be growing in your own backyard. Okay, let's jump right in. Take a look at this flower. It's called monkshood. With these tall, really elegant spires of purple flowers, you can totally see why it's a favorite in gardens, right? It looks amazing, it's pretty tough. On the surface, it seems like the perfect plant. Yeah, this particular beauty, it has a very dark side. In fact, it's one of the most toxic plants you could possibly grow. It's a pretty chilling reminder that in nature, looks can be, well, lethally deceiving. So that's what we're digging into today. Plants that are beautiful, surprisingly common, and hiding a deadly secret right under our noses. And look, this isn't just some abstract hypothetical threat. Back in 2004, a young Canadian actor named Andre Noble was visiting his family when he accidentally ate some monkshood. Within just a few hours, he was dead. It's a tragic, very real example of how quickly these accidents can turn fatal. To really get a grip on just how fast and how severe these poisonings can be, let's walk through a real medical case study. It's a terrifying story that unfolds, believe it or not, hour by hour. And it all started with a simple meal of foraged greens. All right, so the plant at the center of this whole thing is Nicotiana glauca, or tree tobacco. Now, you can probably guess it's a relative of the tobacco plant we all know, but this one contains a much more potent, much more dangerous toxin called N-abazine. It's originally from South America, but it's a world traveler. It's now spread to many other parts of the world. Okay, what's truly mind-blowing here is the speed. Just look at this timeline. At hour 0, a healthy 60-year-old woman eats these leaves. 1 hour later, just 60 minutes, she shows up at the hospital and she can't even walk straight. By the second hour, she's fighting for breath. Her oxygen levels are plummeting. And then, get this, only 30 minutes after that, her respiratory system completely fails and she has to be intubated and put on a ventilator. It's a terrifyingly fast decline. Thankfully, after a few days, she did make a full recovery. So how on earth did that happen so fast? Well, that toxin, N-abazine, basically goes in and paralyzes the muscles, and that includes the most important ones, the ones you need to breathe. The technical term is that it acts as a nicotinic receptor agonist, but really all you need to know is that it leads to respiratory paralysis, and that's the main life-threatening effect. So tree tobacco is a bad one, for sure. But it's just one character in a whole rogues gallery of infamous plants that have earned their deadly reputations over centuries. And first up, we have maybe the most legendary, the most infamous of them all, Atropa belladonna. This plant is literally woven through human history, from ancient myths all the way to modern medicine. You know, you can tell a lot about a plant's reputation just by its nicknames, right? And listen to these: deadly nightshade, devil's berries, beautiful death. I mean, these names are not exactly subtle, are they? They're warnings that have been passed down for generations. And its history? Oh, it's just as wild. It was rumored to be a political weapon in ancient Rome, the poison that was allegedly used to murder Emperor Augustus. But then, fast forward to Renaissance Italy, and it took on this bizarre new role. Women would use drops from the plant to dilate their pupils, which was seen as a sign of beauty. And that's actually where it got its name, belladonna, which literally means beautiful woman. It wasn't until 1831 that a scientist finally isolated its key toxic compound, atropine. Now this is super, super important. Deadly nightshade is often confused with its cousin, black nightshade. And the differences you see here, well, they're a matter of life and death. Look at the berries. Deadly nightshades are big, shiny, and they grow all by themselves. Black nightshades are smaller, duller, and they grow in little bunches. The flowers are totally different too. Knowing how to tell them apart is absolutely vital. So let's circle back to that first plant we saw, monkshood. It's known as the queen of poisons, and for good reason. Its toxin, aconitine, is so potent that it can be absorbed right through your skin. You don't even have to eat it. Just handling the plant without gloves can cause numbness, tingling, and, in really bad cases, serious heart problems. So we've met the culprits, but how do they actually do what they do? And you might be wondering, why did they develop these chemical weapons in the first place? Let's get into the science behind these incredibly powerful natural toxins.
So, the secret weapons in these plants are often a type of chemical called an alkaloid, and you already know some of these, even if you don't realize it. Caffeine in your coffee, nicotine, morphine, they're all alkaloids. See, plants can't run away or fight, so they evolve these complex chemicals as a defense system, basically a big chemical sign that says, "Don't eat me," to bugs and animals. The problem is, our bodies can be just as vulnerable to those same powerful warnings.
And what's really cool, scientifically speaking, is that they don't all work the same way. Check this out. Anabasine, from the tree tobacco, is what's called an agonist. The best analogy is it's like jamming a key in your car's ignition and flooring the gas until the engine just completely burns out. It overstimulates your nerve receptors until they just fail. Atropine, from deadly nightshade, is the opposite. It's an antagonist. It doesn't overstimulate, it blocks the signals entirely. It's more like just cutting all the wires to your body's control panel, messing with everything from your heart rate to your grasp on reality. All right, so we've covered the plants, the science, the scary stories, but what does this actually mean for you and your garden? Let's get to the most important part, some practical advice on how to stay safe. Okay, listen up, because this is the single most critical piece of information here. If you even think someone has ingested a poisonous plant, don't wait, don't second guess, seek immediate medical help. Time is absolutely everything. Okay, so while you're getting that help, here are the steps to take. First, obviously call for help right away. Second, gently wash the person's mouth and any skin that might have been affected. Third, try to keep them lying down and as calm as possible. And fourth, and this is a big one, if you can do it safely, bring a photo or a small piece of the plant with you. That can be a game changer for the doctors trying to figure out the right treatment. Now, what not to do is just as critical because a lot of old school advice is actually really dangerous. Do not try to make the person vomit. Do not apply a tourniquet or make any cuts. And please do not give them alcohol or put stuff like coffee grounds on the area. All of those things can make a bad situation much, much worse. You know, at the end of the day, the best strategy is just prevention. First, know what you're growing in your garden and in your house. And yeah, this includes common houseplants too. Keep anything toxic well out of reach of kids and pets. Teach your children to never, ever put leaves or berries from any plant in their mouth. And finally, like we learned with monks should, just wear gloves when you're handling plants you're not sure about.
So, where does that leave us? Should we be afraid to even go into our backyards? No, of course not. The real takeaway here is that knowledge is power. These plants are a part of our world. We don't have to fear them. We just have to understand them and, most importantly, respect them. Thanks for watching.